Okay.
Welcome to the REHolistic Physio podcast. Here we're going to try and find out the whys in order to work on the hows. Everything that is covered on the podcast is based on current evidence and up-to-date information on each topic. Please seek advice from your GP or a healthcare professional before carrying out any of the advice that you hear on the podcast. Welcome, Sandy.
Thank you.
You.
I'm very well, thank you.
I've just had a nice head massage this morning, so my hair is sleek. Sleek. It's nicely oiled. So thank
we
you.
use rosemary oil.
Rosemary oil. Anything else?
Yes, we also use coconut oil as well, which is really good for the scalp, for conditioning the scalp. And rosemary oil helps with any, not that I'm saying that there are any hairs there that are greying prematurely, but it helps with that.
Thank you for getting yourself out of that whole
and
way.
Also with hair growth too.
I'm hoping I'll have another couple of inches on my hair by the end of the day. So Sandy, can you just introduce yourself a bit? Because I met you about 3 years ago?
I think it might be more than that actually, Heather. Yeah.
Where's time go? Yeah. So you started doing my head massages, didn't you? A while ago. I had it as a treat and someone kindly gave me a voucher, and I've been with Sandy ever since. Sandy's got me through every single emotion there is. You do, I know you do, which is why we love you, Sandy. How did you first get into it?
So I was working full time in IT company, and it was a bit of a rat race, and decided to sort of give that up and do something which was more worthwhile, that I felt that I was contributing more to helping people. I just felt that that's what I needed to do. So then that's when I started to look at what courses I could do. And when I saw Indian head massage, it was just something, it just clicked, and I thought, yeah, this is it for me. So I trained in that, and then it was more like a hobby really, because then I had my youngest son while I was sort of like working as a hobby doing Indian head massage, and then was working in schools as well. So I spent 20 years working in the schools and doing the Indian head massage as a hobby, which I loved. Yeah,
that's amazing. And I think, well, I know I don't know the ins and outs of head massage. Obviously, it's only since I've been talking to you, but I just find them really relaxing, really beneficial to start. Well, I start my day with it, or I end my day with it, depending on what time of day I see you. But I always find that you sleep better, you feel a bit more invigorated, you get in contact with your emotions, you just feel generally better about it. But is there a reason, the principles behind it? I know.
Yeah, there's so many benefits. So just to let you know about sort of where it originated from. So it's over 5,000 years old. Some of the techniques. So the Indians would take their children and babies down to the river to wash them, and they would be shampooing, which is champy. Massage is a massage, and that's where it sort of originated from, and then came over to sort of Western side, and some of the techniques have been changed slightly, and some of the movements and things, but so that's sort of like where it originated from.
And I mean, it's really incredible how things like even acupuncture and Indian head massage, and we use those now. It goes back so far, and we still use those techniques, and it goes to show, doesn't it? Back then they knew what they were doing.
Absolutely. And then I've sort of gone on and done a couple of Ayurvedic courses as well, in sort of facial massage, and also changing a few of the techniques, or adding techniques to to what I already do.
And what's the principle behind, we were talking about the daily doses and the happy hormones and things and the release.
Oh wow. Yeah, there's some real superheroes there, real superheroes. So look at the daily dose. That's dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and the endorphins being released. So all of those are classed as the happy hormones. So if you look at each one, so dopamine, that's got an amazing superpower, which is motivation. So so that's brilliant. So it helps you with focus, attention, concentration, and the superpower is motivation, dopamine. Yeah. So that as soon as your massage, it's touch. As soon as you have consensual touch, then the next one, oxytocin, within 20 seconds, will be released into your system. Yeah, and that will I've lost it now.
Don't worry, I'm the same. I carry on talking, then I forget completely what I'm talking about.
And that's the hormone for love and nurture, isn't it? Oxytocin. So that's released into your body, and within 20 seconds you feel the benefits of that.
Definitely do.
Yeah.
Like you just sit, and it's like sometimes I find it really hard to switch off, as you know. And I'll just sit there, and I just said to you, I felt like I'm just nodded off. I was about to nod off.
Yeah.
Like we can be chatting for ages, and then suddenly you'll do something, and I'll be like, oh.
That would be the serotonin. That would be the serotonin kicking in. Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly it does. Like I do believe that anyone would be able to, if they just sat and allowed someone like yourself to do some of the techniques, they would find it really beneficial.
They do, yeah. They don't realise until you actually sit there and you have the treatment yourself, to actually feel the benefits. And so many people will sit there and they'll go, oh my goodness, I didn't realise I had so much tension in my face. It could be the scalp, it could be the neck, you know, that they thought it was just shoulder.
Absolutely.
It's all different places. That you hold the tension. But yeah, the happy hormones are just absolutely amazing. How they help us. As soon as you've got that consensual touch, then these hormones are released into your system. And then you will feel the benefits. The serotonin, as we all know, that helps to produce melatonin for sleep, and mood, to regulate our mood as well. And its superpower for serotonin is it's a natural antidepressant. So that's a wonderful superpower. And then the last one of the daily dose is endorphins, and they're the pain relief. And and that's when you feel that euphoric feeling of well-being. And you know, I've had quite a few people, and you will know who you are if you're listening to this, where you have found that when you're having a treatment, you get goosebumps, and you go,
goosebumps,
what's this about? And it's that euphoric feeling of well-being, and that's where the goosebumps.
I think it's really important to say that it gives you that time as well to just get in touch with your own what's going on within you as well,
like your emotions,
your own emotions. And like I said, I haven't told people before, but when Dad passed away, then I came to you, and do you remember that? I just had that outpouring of grief,
that relief,
and and it's kind of you do. I don't know whether it's that time and the release of these, you know, different hormones that makes you get a bit more in touch with that, or it's the time that you're sat there again to have that time.
It would be it's lots of different things that are contributing, but one of the main ones there is oxytocin. So when that's released into your system, it stimulates your sort of self-regulation of emotions, your emotional intelligence.
I think it's amazing. Like, you know, as you know, I swear by coming to me. I mean, anyone that knows me knows that if I find something or someone that works, and the same for anyone listening, if you find that one thing that works for you, or that one person that you go and see, and it makes you feel a lot of emotions, or just makes you feel more relaxed or happier, or whatever it may be, then stick with it, because it's obviously working. And it doesn't need to be you don't really need to put your finger on what it is.
No,
you know,
it just makes you feel good and makes you feel better.
That's what it is.
It helps you in any way.
Absolutely. And like you say, like stress reduction and sleep. I know a lot of people have problems with sleep at the moment. Life's busy, life's hectic. I don't think you've always got time to sit down and necessarily decompress and think about what you've gone through in the day or the week or month. And therefore you're just constantly going, and it's building. You know, and I think it would, you know, help a lot of people just to have that time and seek someone like yourself, or even Sandy, if you're local, Hampshire. Shout out to Hampshire.
Sorry.
And though Sad's got a lovely room here, and I think that's part of it as well, is creating that environment, and also people at home maybe creating an environment. Like we talked about essential oils a lot, haven't we, as well, over the time, and candles and different scents, and things like that, which we can go into more detail at some point anyway. But I think it's just creating that environment for yourself at home as well. I think like a sleep environment, at home.
Yeah. Somewhere that you're not stimulated all the time by electronics.
Absolutely.
Not too much caffeine.
Absolutely.
All those things that stimulate you. But we love time to time.
We love too much. But I think it's really interesting when we talk about like candles. You and I are both really into candles and scents and natural,
because
scents.
it just goes into the olfactory system, doesn't it? Into the olfactory bulb, and then that hits the, what is it called, the amygdala? Amygdala. Yeah, which is the primitive part of the brain, isn't it? Which then, you get all of these good feelings for smelling some good sort of essential oil smells, for example, or flowers, or it could be cut grass.
Whatever it is.
It could be some sort of nice cooking smell. I had one client who came in last week, and she said to me, and you'll know who you are if you're listening, and she said to me, the smell in your house. And I was thinking, what smells that? I was getting a bit worried. And she said, it's so lovely, Sandy. She said, what have you been cooking? And I'm like, no, because it was the first client in the morning. No, I haven't been cooking. And she said, it reminds me of my mum. It's so homely. It's a lovely, lovely smell. So and then that took her back to the time that she was with her mother, who'd obviously, at that point passed away a long time ago, but it gave her that lovely, lovely feeling.
I find that incredible, though. I had the same. A lady came into clinic the other month, and she was wearing a certain perfume. She couldn't remember the name of it, but it took me back to the playground at my very old school when I was at primary, years and years and years ago, and it was my teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just went. It did. It put me back there, and every time she came in after that, I'd say,
"Did you ask
I'm
her?"
there again. Yeah,
she was when I had to do this.
Know, though. She didn't know. It was really
really? No.
It just took you right back.
Yeah.
I find that so fascinating, actually.
Yeah.
I find it really fascinating.
That happened to me at the National Trust only a couple of weeks ago. And it was a family day out, and we were walking around, and there was, you get these useful people that are standing there, and they're helping you and talking you through things. Well, I couldn't really listen to what she was saying because I could just smell.
Yeah.
And it was just this perfume, and it was what my mother-in-law, who passed a few years ago, sadly. But it was that smell that I could smell. Her perfume, and I just had to say to her, I pulled her aside privately afterwards, and I said, please tell me the perfume. I didn't tell her why, but I did ask her.
It's just, I just find that amazing. I do find that amazing, and just how the body just must constantly be taking in these aromas and smells as you're walking. That's why stimulation, like we talk about overstimulation a lot, and having jobs where you talk and touch people, and you're obviously absorbing their energy as well. And your bodies, I'll say to you, you must be exhausted from doing this, because you're
say that to me. They say, you must be taking on like everybody's energy, but no, I mean, when you're working in this kind of area, you do sort of tend to protect yourself from too much, the negative energy. There's certain ways that you can do it, and that's something else we can talk about. But you have to self-protect as well.
You do, absolutely. And I know for a fact that I find it very beneficial in all sorts of ways, like I say. But is there any other ways people might find it beneficial to themselves? We talked about obviously sleep, emotion, all those sorts of things.
Stress relief.
Yeah, stress.
There's absolutely so many benefits. I've got them listed down right next to me. Alleviation of headache, sleep improvement, enhanced circulation and detoxification.
We didn't mention that.
So when the muscles are being manipulated, well, you can explain that as well, can't you? Probably in better terms than I can. So the oxygen is coming to the muscles through the blood, and then that will lift the toxins and remove them from your system. But you do need to drink lots of water, don't you, to flush through.
And I find actually after the treatment, you feel quite thirsty.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show really, because you don't really think about it actually while you're sitting here.
No.
But afterwards, I'm always like, I get through quite a lot of water, don't I?
Yeah.
And things.
Just to go away from Indian head massage, but I also do Reiki as well.
Yeah.
And I do Reiki in cats too.
Yeah.
And these two
love
cats, after they've had a Reiki treatment, they will quite often go and get something to eat, and I'm sure it's to ground them, and they will have lots to drink as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, and on animals as well. I think it's absolutely fascinating. It really is, because they can't tell you their emotion.
No.
But they're clearly emotive animals, you know. They've really got, you know, they feel the same as us.
Yeah. They are very in touch, they're very perceptive.
Yeah.
And I think they're aware of lots of energies around us that we can't feel, but they can feel. Yeah. Very perceptive.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, Sandy, we need to touch on today? Because there's so much I know, but we're trying to give a brief overview today, aren't we, really? Anything that springs to mind that you think might be useful? Well, absolutely.
Yeah. So it will calm you, reduction in anxiety, overall sense of psychological well-being. Yeah.
Massive. There's massive benefits, aren't there? I mean, there's absolutely huge. And I think it is just something we wanted to discuss it on the podcast, because I think if people haven't heard of Indian head massage, experienced Indian head massage, are finding ways or treatments or different therapies that they want to try, then Indian head massage is definitely probably one to consider for all its benefits.
It's a very gentle massage of the shoulders, down the arms, the neck, the scalp, and finally on the face as well.
It's amazing, really.
Just sort of sweeping all those tensions away.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, how would someone go and find someone if they're not local to here? Obviously, how would they go and find? Is there a website? I didn't think to ask you before how you'd find someone.
I mean, I advertise on Facebook and Instagram under Indian
So someone might
Reiki
find someone
on there. There's also, I'm a member of the Federation of Holistic Therapists. They have a directory as well, so you can go on there and then you can find people. Good therapists, and most of my business comes through recommendations,
isn't it? I think that's
I do advertise on the local site of Asheville community as well.
I'll put your details on my Insta.
Thank you.
Go to the REHolistic Physio Instagram page, and I'll have Sandy's details on there. Well, thank you, Sandy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you may see some new people soon.
I hope so.
Thanks, Sandy.